Johnny, those judges that are presiding over the Julian Assange case, they've adjourned to their chambers. That means they must be giving the case a lot of thought.
After 2 days of hearings, a UK court will now decide if Julian Assange will be extradited to the United States.
Well, they probably are giving it a lot of thought, Johnny, but they're probably not giving the amount of thought to things that you think they're thinking of. What do you mean by that?
If convicted, Assange could be sentenced to 175 years in jail.
Because there's this big groundswell out there, people protesting and everything, Johnny, to let old Julian go.
I think there is still a massive strength of feeling, even after so many years around this case.
But the Americans, and they make no doubt about it, the Americans, they're controlling this bloody stuff. Well, I suppose. Yeah, they want him brought back home so they can try the living shit out of him. But Johnny, the scales of justice, they move always in the direction of truth, justice and whatever. Surely they're not thinking politically about this, are they?
However, I must say the lawyers on the United States side do continue to claim, as you say, that Julian Assange risked people's lives by releasing these documents in the way that he did, and that their prosecution is very much based on law and evidence rather than politics, which is...
Not political. The US, they're not being political about it. Yeah. Well, that's bloody bullshit. So if they say, yes, our American friends, you can take him, we'll send him over there, then they'll be rioting in the streets and all sorts of bloody stuff going on. Jesus. And if they say no, well, we're going to keep him here, they're going to have to keep him in prison. Are you telling me, Johnny, that the legal system will just... So if the British system, Johnny, says that no, you can't have him to the Yanks, what are they going to do with him? Keep him in jail forever? They've had him in jail for 5 years already and haven't done anything with him.
The streets of London, huge numbers of protesters outside the High Court, waving placards saying, "Free Julian Assange now," hundreds of golden ribbons.
So you're saying, Johnny, that if the British court says that the Yanks can have him, that'll be a huge backlash on the English government and everything. There'll be riots and all that sort of shit. They don't want that. And if they say, no, you can't have him, they're going to have to keep him in jail for the same reasons they've kept him in jail for 5 years without trial. Yeah, well, perhaps they should show some fucking leadership. And the Americans are shitty, Johnny. Because Julian, he released a whole lot of bloody videos and documents that cast the US in a pretty poor light. What? Yeah, like killing bloody civilians. And they like to keep that down the down low. They don't want everybody in the world knowing that they just blast people and kill millions of people. Yeah, millions.
We also know that US forces routinely murdered and tortured innocent civilians, carpet-bombed civilian neighbourhoods and massacred entire villages. We know this to be true because we have seen leaked Pentagon tapes, like this one published by WikiLeaks in 2010, which showed a US Apache gunship mowing down innocent civilians and journalists in Baghdad in 2007. But we also know US soldiers committed war crimes in Muslim countries because former US soldiers have told us how.
So it seems the Americans don't like to be exposed, Johnny, as war criminals. Oh my God! But Johnny, if they don't do something soon, poor old Julian, he might be dead. And it wouldn't surprise me, Johnny, if these bloody judges in England, they were just waiting there for Julian to die. What? Are you serious? Yeah, die, Johnny. Can you imagine how relieved everybody in there? Well, I suppose, yeah, it would bloody relieved up in the upper echelons of power. When poor old Julian carks it in jail, it'll be a sorry day. Sorry day. Our condolences go out to the Assange family and all that sort of shit. Weak as piss. I think they just want him to bloody die in prison. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's why they're waiting so bloody... They've been doing this for bloody 5 years, Johnny. How bloody sick is he, Johnny? I mean, he must be bloody crook. He's probably bloody... We don't know how sick he actually is, but I would say he's not doing too well. Well, he can't be too bloody good, Johnny. Now, I'm not saying that there would be any mishap in jail. What do you mean by that? Heaven forbid. But I would hope that Julian, his food is being kept. Poison him? Oh, Johnny, surely not the bloody British bloody government. There may not be some sort of additives put in to hasten his demise? Well, now you mention it. So, Johnny, it's going to be another bloody 3 or 4 weeks before the government, if it ever does come out with some verdict in England. Well, but they'll be waiting, don't you bloody doubt it. They'll be waiting for Julian to get so fucking sick that they'll be saying he's too ill to be moved to the US. So nothing will be done. Surely they're not bloody gonna do it so they can't get into trouble for not doing anything. Surely. What? The more you can not do, the less you can be bloody criticised. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Johnny, governments do bloody stupid, terrible things. I mean, have a look at some of these James Bond movies. What the government's up to in them, by Jesus. Holy shit. Well, you got to do what the Americans tell you, Johnny. What if there's a war? We're dependent on them to come and fucking save us.